emergency lined up. It is, if I'm correct on this date, because I'm still a day ahead of you guys, what is it today? It is what, Saturday, I believe, maybe Friday your time. Please like and share. Let me know you got audio and visual, taking the beautiful view. I'm in another spectacular location as a part of islandproject.com and our global expansion now worldwide as a part of our diversified portfolio of no bank debt real estate, soon to be tokenized. We're taking the $33.5 million, if you're not already aware, deployed that in a diversified portfolio. Now we're tokenizing it. We'll be taking it to a public blockchain, raising billions of dollars of capital, and then, of course, building and continuing to build our amazing freedom network along with all of you. Again, it's almost kind of like seasteading. If you've ever studied that, I always found it fascinating. I also find, architecture and construction fascinating and cities fascinating, how all of these visions started with an idea and then were created from that idea to build something incredible and new and passionate and sexy. Just like the United States of America was an idea by men and women constructed under God through the principles and foundation of all of that to build something so amazing and great. But I think the problem now is we're seeing a lot of corruption. We see the political charade. We see a theater really occurring in American politics. And I'll be honest, it's easier to actually see this when you are overseas. So from my perspective, moving across all of Southeast Asia right now, along with my team and my beautiful father, when you are remotely disengaged and you're looking at America through the political lens, it's much easier to see that not only is it a fraud, but it is really like a reality television show. And I'm serious about this. It's very easy to see that it's just all lies, which is currently what is occurring right now as a part of the destabilization effort in the West, which I believe they have been very effective at. And it's why, as I visit other countries, I see really stark contrasts. Like, for example, what Americans are focused on are things that aren't real. They're focused on entertainment. They're focused on politics of guys being in women's sports. But I go overseas and that's not even being discussed in these other countries. They're actually focused on prosperity, wellness, health, albeit, each country has its pros and cons. But I see a very strong, safe society, and I've seen it in major cities like Tokyo and Singapore, which you've seen me in those locations very recently. And even I see it with food. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but if you go to a vending machine in Singapore, for example, you can choose fresh squeezed orange juice. You can actually get a green smoothie. Versus in the United States, the only options are Doritos, potato chips, sugary sodas, and other things that will, not treat your body right. So you even see it from that perspective as well. And it's really astonishing to witness. Everything's cheaper. Everything's cheaper in Japan. Everything's cheaper in even Singapore. Singapore is pretty pricey. And the reason is their currency is so strong. So I would say that Singapore is kind of like Maui pricing, where for those of you that don't know, Maui's the most expensive place to live in Hawaii. So for example, when I go to Honolulu, which I do about once a month, visit my father, visit the rest of our team and portfolio there, and of course work, hand in hand with all of that, it's like getting a discount. If you take a family of 4 out in Maui, for example, you're going to pay $400, period, end of story. Go to Oahu, it'll be like $200, right? Prices are still very expensive, but they're not to the extreme. Singapore is very expensive, but it's mostly because the USD, the fiat, is so weak in comparison to the Singaporean dollar, which is the strongest currency in the world. It's pretty cool too. My kids are meeting tons of other kids as we've been internationally traveling, and you see how smart these other cultures are. For example, my children were playing with a Singaporean 6-year-old earlier today, and he already knows his multiplication tables. He's incredible at math. He was doing long division with Austin, and they were even playing chess. Now, my son is a very good chess player. He's probably hasn't brushed up on his game recently, but this 6-year-old, my son beat, which he should, and then played a couple other matches in the 6-year-old. This guy's only 6. Basically, they had a draw on their second match, proving the point again that other cultures, in my view, are completely destroying the American education system right now. Again, if you go overseas, people speak 3 languages, they're highly educated, versus the USA, we're seeing destruction, we're seeing college universities tear down George Washington statues. I mean, I went to George Washington University on scholarship in Washington, D.C. I'm surprised those haven't been torn down yet in the United States. So again, we see stark, grave contrasts across the board as you start to see what's really going on internationally in comparison to the fakeness, to the reality TV, to the entertainment, and to the theater that we currently have in the United States. But that's not the topic of today's video. I love sharing with you these, international travels, of course, and I'm out here on business for the project. But that's not why I'm producing this video, because guess what, guys? Those terrible people in charge, what people call the elites, have another global emergency plan for all of you. And it's already been declared. Many of you don't even know that. Like, again, what they did a couple years ago in 2020, they weren't going to stop with. That was just the beginning of the dominoes of the future events that they had laid the foundation for, which is why it was so important that you stood your ground, did not bend the knee, and did not comply, because that was only the first event, which then would get much worse, increase with gravity, and would further more global emergencies, of course, which they were going to use to implement more tyranny and more controls, and basically all the things that we don't stand for. Again, as a freedom fighter, as a liberty fighter, as a constitutionalist, I guess I'm kind of more on the range of libertarianism. We are pro-civil liberties and pro-freedom at all costs. At all costs. And you see what people are really made of during a crisis. For example, those that bent the knee to the new world, in 2020 proved who they were. They proved their colors. And we actually saw this with Trump yesterday. In fact, he proved once again he didn't make a mistake in 2020. He was not tricked by the deep state, because he was giving a speech yesterday congratulating and commending himself for what he did to all of you in 2020. He said, quote and verbatim, I posted on my Twitter. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because they want to believe in the false hope, that America is being saved, but it's not. It's actually going to get far worse. But he was commending himself over everything he did in 2020 with the topics I'm not allowed to talk about. And so I won't, give them by name. But it was significant in the fact that it proved the point that Trump wasn't deceived by the deep state. His advisors didn't deceive him. Okay, he wasn't fooled. That was his intention. He's never apologized for it. He commends himself and his administration for it. And when the next global emergency strikes, which is happening with monkeys right now, which I think you know what I'm talking about, he'll do the exact same thing again. And we must understand this point. And so I'm very worried, because this one I actually think could be the big one. I actually think whether or not this is the strain or there's another variation, they only did what they did to release the one that will really be a dramatic event and will be, I believe, a part of the depopulation that they fully intend. So I want you to be aware of that. This individual right here, I can't say his name on camera, has predicted this one as well. And Trump, of course, bent the knee to this guy, and he will again. And he'll bend the knee to these organizations that declared the emergency last time, because he's already done it. And he'll do it again, guys, and it's going to get much worse. Again, the United States of America was under martial law in 2020. You were not allowed to internationally travel. You were not allowed to move freely around the country. You weren't allowed to go to church. You had to disobey. I mean, your businesses were shut down. Like, do I have to repeat all this to you? Trillions of dollars were wiped out of the economy. Trump spent $8 trillion and stoked hyperinflation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and we're still living. You are all living through those repercussions now. I was texting a good friend of mine out in California. He's moving to Arizona to escape the tyranny right now. And he's a great guy, and he's a fellow Christian. And we were just talking about what's going on, how things are really ramping up, and they're getting a lot more serious, and the deception is increasing. Again, I know I kind of get a little far in the tooth sometimes where people can't see what I see until it's too late. But I'll keep repeating it because I've been, sounding the alarm bells for a very long time, and I'm going to continue sounding them. Where this is all going is what I warned you about years ago. Just like Ray Kurzweil says, nanobots will be in all of your bloodstreams and your capillaries, and then working directly with Neuralase tools and microchips that Musk and others have worked on, which will be ubiquitous in the future. And they've laid the software programming, just like this guy here does for Windows 95 and all the latest upgrades, and they're doing it with people, guys. They're doing it with people. And where this is going is biological integration as the Antichrist rises and as we move to the mark of which you will not be able to buy or sell. And again, you really need to be prepared for this. Like, if you're not building true alternative ecosystems, I have no idea what you're doing, because you will not be allowed to operate in this new system unless you bend the knee. People like me don't bend the knee to anyone but Jesus Christ the King, and will never, at any cost, bend the knee. If I was president, my advisors had misinformed me, I wouldn't have bent the knee, because I would have common sense to understand what the globalist cabal that really owns the United States of America is doing. Do Americans not know? Do they not know that it's actually large multinational corporations, the financial and tech elite, that really own and control the United States of America? Are they that stupid that they're not awake? It's like this to a certain degree, all across the world. In various countries, the countries are owned by people that are in power, that really, pull the curtains, so to speak, in front of the eyes of their populations and their states, and they control everything from the money supply and, consumer behavior and the rules and the laws of the land, and they dictate it, just like the United States of America. But what you don't understand is America, or a lot of people, not you tuning in, is it used to be free. But decades ago, America, in my view, had already been overthrown by outside interests, mostly in these other countries that don't want the United States and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to stand in the way of their agenda to integrate the entire world to everything I've been doing for 20 years. Everything that I've been warning all of you about for multiple decades now. And we're there now. I think a lot of Americans are going to look back a year or so from now and wonder why they wasted so much time focused on a fake selection that means nothing, that has no impact on your life, and it's being decided not by you, but the people really in charge. Again, the President of the United States does not dictate global or American-centric policy. The real owners do. Even if Trump has good intentions or any other president has good intention, the black suits will meet with you and at least attempt to force you to bend the knee. And I'm not the only one saying this. We had Andrew Tate come out, says he thinks Trump cut a deal with the deep state. That's what he said. Candace Owens says, yeah, it's like they flogged him and he's bent the knee. Somewhere along the line, the black suits showed up and Trump got tired of the daily attacks and ridicule and decided to bow down. Now, that's what they're saying. I don't think it's a sudden thing. I think it's been like this for a long time. And the only thing that I knew to prove that was I just look at people's actions, what they do. Again, I always told you not to comply. I've always told you the truth. I've warned you, not just of World War III, which is what you're in now, but hyperinflation. And I was telling my friend too, he's new to crypto and blockchain. He says, I'm still going to learn it. And he was duped by Trump, because Trump called it a scam for years as well. And he says, I just still don't get it. Now I feel like the price is so high and I just can't, should I still buy it? And I was just telling him, look, even if you don't like blockchain, You don't understand Bitcoin. At the very least, buy gold and buy real estate, like what you see behind me. Buy Island Project, something that you actually do understand, because all assets not denominated in worthless trash fiat currency are going to continue to skyrocket as a result of the central bank policies of printing and debt into infinity and destroying all of you and your family's futures and all of your wealth. And you see this overseas too, as I go to the various countries and I exchange some USD just for fun into various other currencies, you'll see it. The country that I'm in now, which I'll tell you about later in another video, I'm exchanging currency, and it literally looked like Scarface. I'm like, here's 300 bones. And they're like putting it into a machine of the currency they're exchanging. I'm like, oh, dude, that can't be all for me. But it was. I literally come out with a handbag of worthless fiat crap coin. Because again, that's where fiat currencies are. They're worth nothing and they're worth zero. And the currency sinking the quickest right now is actually the US dollar, which is their game plan. Again, they're going to reset you into a new system of blockchain and Bitcoin standardization because that's always been the plan. They're going to eradicate your financial ownership of the most sought after assets and wealth tools that have always been the most sought after assets and wealth tools throughout human civilization and human history. And that is real assets. It is things not denominated in fiat, clipped, coined, hyperinflationary debt trash, which is the US dollar. And so real estate hasn't gone up. It's just the US dollar is declining. Gold isn't going up. It's just that the US dollar's worth nothing. You must understand this point. The only reason there's inflation is because the dollar's worthless, because of your politicians' policies. And this is not just Trump, it's also Biden. Both parties suck. There's a growing amount of Americans that see into this like I do. They don't want any part of it. They're not participating in it for good reason, because we're smart enough to understand where the global cabal takes all of you next. Also, I have not commented on this yet, but Vladimir Putin will be taking a very aggressive retaliatory action soon as a result of NATO pushing the envelope in Ukraine. I'm not sure if you've caught this. I haven't talked about it, but I'm sure some of you have probably caught this. Basically, NATO is attempting to instigate now further aggression. NATO is pushing harder into Russian territory. We've seen this with drone strikes and things like that in recent months throughout the part of the year. But they're getting more aggressive. The question you should be asking is why? Well, they're getting more aggressive because they want Russia to strike. Do you understand? They're pushing the Russian bear for a reason. And case in point, we saw within the last 24 hours that Russian nuke bombers have been rushing NATO borders in preparation for annihilation, probably of the Baltic states, parts of Europe, and other remaining parts of the West that, of course, Vladimir Putin, China, and these rising nation states are at war with. I think most Americans understand this. You're in World War III now. You're fighting an active war in Ukraine. You're funding those BOMBs in Gaza. You are funding the war in Ukraine. You are at war with Russia and China and every BRICS country. And you must understand this point. Now, of course, we're fighting fourth, fifth generation warfare. We all know that. It's an information war. It's a psychological war. It's a psyop. It's propaganda. It's these coughing events and monkey events that they're releasing and spreading all over the world for a reason. They don't need to fight World War III the same way they fought World War I and II. Again, the elites want to preserve these islands, so to speak, planet Earth for themselves. And then they want you to remove all of you from it. They will be hooking you up with wires and Neuralase chips and marks and putting you into machines and then merging you with the AI and these new technologies and everything that they've developed. It all stems from DARPA and the deep state. And just like Jeff Bezos, my friend in Maui, will tell you, he has a vision for 1 trillion human life forms cyborgs merged at that point that will live in space in cylinders. Go look this up for yourself. It's all over CNBC, guys. If you can't read, it's your fault. And he envisions a future of cyborg humans, trillions of people, 1 trillion at least, he says, that will live in these cylinders in fake lower orbit space. And if you're lucky and wealthy enough, you may be able to visit, maybe for a weekend or something, if you can afford it, planet Earth, like you would a zoo. Of course, you'll an entrance fee to come into it, just like you do at the Grand Canyon today. And it'll be like visiting a theme park or Disneyland or something like that. The elites, of course, will only reserve the best parts of planet Earth, the only place you can actually live, as a refuge for themselves. You see, Elysium isn't going to be in Mars. It's going to be pushing all of you to fake Mars. And there will be a mass you-know-what as people are depopulated along that journey. And guess where all these global scumbags will be? They'll be on this island right here behind me, in the most beautiful locations in the world, after they've stolen all wealth, all assets, collapsed your currencies, hooked up all your children to the mark. Do not comply. And they move you to totalitarianism and, of course, the New World System. And that's what they've been doing, and they've been very good at it. And they're honestly winning, because the American people have yet, not you, but have yet to wake up to this and to be smart enough to understand that the powers that be play a malevolent and a very creative and extremely steadfast and calculated game of chess. And frankly, they're much smarter than the American sheep. Just like kids overseas are smarter than the average American. And that's just the truth, because the average American's being schooled in institutions like prisons, and they're being taught lies and fake history. And it's why they can't speak any other languages, and they can barely do math without a calculator. And children in Singapore kick the crap out of the American education. For those of you that don't know, the best math in the world is Singaporean math for a reason, because these other countries just do it better. And I'm not saying they do everything better, but they do a lot better, especially where the United States is going today. Just like General Greene has predicted, because I always get it right on a long enough timeline. And I'm always ahead of the curve, sometimes by years, giving you ample time to pivot, leverage, profit, to make the best investments in the world and improve your life. Whether or not it was social media or e-commerce, which I begun in 2008 and 2009, or warning my clients at Merrill Lynch to exit the stock market when Bear Stearns started to collapse, and Jim Cramer of Goldman Sachs, my diamond nuts, told you to buy it. Or it was Bitcoin trading under 1,000, or now it's islandproject.com, the most exclusive Rolex investment and Lamborghini equivalent. A fractionally owned, no bank debt, diversified and decentralized diamond nuts real estate like you see behind me, soon to be tokenized on a world-class multi-billion-dollar blockchain by the general and his entire amazing team. This includes, of course, Papa John, big cojones Papa John as well. And all of you amazing people tuning in, smart enough to beat the machine at their own game. And as I've predicted, Tel Aviv is now a ghost town. Not only are people not traveling to Israel, but people aren't visiting the beaches. They're not going out to restaurants, and they are emptying in imminent preparation for an Iran attack. This came out in the Jerusalem Post just actually moments ago. It says that the normally vibrant city of Tel Aviv is preparing for an attack by Iran. Please read it for yourself, or if you can't read, learn to read. I would highly, highly encourage that. And don't just rely on search engines, for example, as your only source of information, including the compromised deep state technology which makes up ChatGPT, which stems from the same people that really own the United States. Again, Trump has owners, and so do all of the presidents, ladies and gentlemen. Just how it works. Sam Altman, of course, also comes and stems from the technological elite, people like Elon Musk that was allowed to buy Twitter because he was allowed by the deep state to buy it. That's just, again, the truth. So the normally vibrant city of Tel Aviv has turned eerily quiet as residents and business owners grapple with fear and uncertainty due to the threats of imminent retaliation by Iran. It'll be curious to see what Iran does. I don't think it will be common sense or what a lot of people think. They've already tried airstrikes. They weren't really effective. It was much more like a statement that they did that, more publicity. I think that Iran, where it is strong, will be in decentralized warfare, and it will be in guerrilla tactics on the next turn. I think you understand what I mean by that, but they will use guerrilla tactics, I believe, to hit the West. And it won't just be Israel. Again, the Iranians are smart enough to know they're not just at war with Israel, they're at war with America, and they're at war with NATO, and they're at war with every single European nation that supports it. And so they're not going to attack, in my opinion, in the traditional way. They'll do it where they can hit the hardest and be most effective. I'm sure many of you have read the book, The Art of War. You hit where it hurts the most. You cloak your attack. You throw out red herrings. You confuse the target population through propaganda and lies and demoralization, and you infiltrate. And that's exactly what the people that have overthrown, in my view, the United States have done so amply. And you must understand this took decades to accomplish. The demoralization phase of a nation state takes 10 years minimum. And America's enemies are not only good at this, they're the best in the world. And I believe that they've ran these operations completely effectively in recent years, and it's going to only ramp up even more. So the next global emergency is here. Are you ready for it, America? Are you ready for another cough or a sore throat that Donald Trump will bend the knee to if he gets into the White House and implement the same type of draconianism that he did before? Again, he's never apologized for it. He's still ranting and raving about how great he is, about how it was all because of him that was pulled off hook, line, and sinker, and he was able to get it into as many people as possible. And again, we've seen the ramifications of the economic slaughter of the United States post those events. Most Americans are not smart enough to realize that the economic collapse was caused by that. And the only reason you're in the position you are now is because of what they've been running largely since 9/11, honestly. That's when I view that it began. And I don't believe any of those official stories, just like I don't believe any of the official stories now. Whether or not it was Trump's alleged, taking him out a couple days ago, or whether or not it was the event in 2020. I ain't buying it. I always saw it for what it was, and I've always told you the truth, just like I am now. Are you ballsy enough and courageous enough to accept the truth? Are you willing to take the red pill? Or is it just simply easier to consume and swallow the lies that you're being fed? Because I speak truth, and I want the best for you. Not only do I promote your freedom like a true American patriot, someone who loves the United States of America and is fighting and putting his life's work into it. Or is it just simply easier for a lot of the people to just turn the other cheek and pretend that they're not being battered and bruised by an abuser? And we know who those abusers are. They're the people in power now. Just like a wife who's being hit over and over again, but doesn't blame her husband, says it's not his fault, and always provides an excuse for the tyranny. Oh, he was, tricked by the deep state, Christopher. He hit me and gave me a black eye and a bloody nose, but he didn't mean it, Christopher. He really is making America great again, as you get whacked in the face over and over again. Well, this is just me speaking and talking for myself, but the minute someone shows their true colors, you know who they are. And it's not just about Trump. It's about all of them. in the dirty, deep swamp that currently exists in the United States. Again, it's very obvious to see. It is so easy to understand. We all know where this goes economically and financially. We all know that all you need to do is buy Bitcoin to get rich. All you need to do is get into crypto, an island project, buy real assets, own the best assets in the world. You'll be rich because we already know where they're going. We know what they're going to do. And I tell you this all the time. If you're smart enough to figure it out, profit from it. Protect yourself. Help and organize your families. Protect other fellow believers, God-fearing individuals and Christians that aren't awake yet. You should be 1000xing your cash flows. You should be educating yourself across a broad basis of skill sets. You should be prepping with food and water and the host of recommendations I've made in recent years. You should have already bought gold and silver like I was selling it for over a decade, because now it's breaking new all-time highs. Right again, the general always gets it right. And just like people, couldn't see that past my recommendations sometimes in the past, like, no one wanted to buy Bitcoin because Trump called it a scam. And now they're like, well, Trump's likes that Bitcoin now, and he's owned by Thiel and others that are the Bitcoin mafia. So maybe I should own that Bitcoin. Well, now it's largely too late because you missed out on 1000x rates of return, like you're going to miss out on 1000x rates of return here. Just like if you're buying gold now, you're buying gold at an all-time high because you waited too long. You were deceived by the deep state once again. Learn your lesson. Learn your lesson if you've been wrong about Bitcoin. Learn your lesson if you were wrong about this and the lockdowns when I predicted it and told you it was going to happen. I remember very cogently I did a video, and I had to, a lot of these have gone down the rabbit hole because you're not allowed to have this content out. I think some of it still remains, out in the various other sphere of the internet airways. But I remember very poignantly coming on camera months before the lockdowns and putting on a mask for illustrative purposes and yelling at all of you tuning in and telling you you will be forced to put this on your mouth and you will not be allowed to travel and they're going to shut down the world and there's going to be toilet paper hysteria. And like a drum, after making those illustrative videos, which no one liked at the time, everyone downrated it, said I was wrong, it would never happen, they said. Oh, you're a fearmonger, Christopher. And like a drum, months later, after already exiting the system myself to protect my loved ones, the whole world shut down. Financial markets collapsed. Bitcoin hit a new all-time low, or a new low. It hit 3,500, which I came on camera and told you to buy. And pandemonium broke out worldwide. People had to cancel their flights. Grandma wasn't allowed any visitation, so she suffered and died at the hospital. Countless suicides erupted as a result of Trump's policies, and we will never get those people back. Yet alone, trillions of dollars in debt was printed, and millions of small America's businesses went to zero and collapsed overnight as the elites empowered themselves in the largest wealth transfer in world history. They all got richer. Their net worths soared. Amazon and other companies like that took even more market share because they were the only ones that were quote unquote essential. Because again, they've already told you where you stand with them. You're not a part of their plan. They don't care about you. They only care about themselves. So stop participating in a failed system. Build a new one. Build the incredible vision of the digital Noah's Ark along with my team now. And exit the banks while you still can. Links below. Text my father, 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. For those of you that don't believe some of my commentary about Trump right now, will in the coming months, because you're going to see what happens next. It's going to be your worst nightmare. And if he gets in, I think the tables are turning against him right now. I actually think the deep state doesn't want him in, so they'll probably install Kamala once again. It'll be another rigged job. You'll see in the very near future that you wasted time. And even if he does get in, I actually think that's when the real crap hits the fan. So it's not like you're winning the lottery. You're opening up World War III at that point. Good luck with that one. Stop participating in a fake, rigged system that continues to destroy you and your loved ones. Opt out, motivate yourself, and start deploying capital, assets, and mind share to what actually improves your life across every single spectrum. It's hard to do. I know people want to rely on somebody to save them. And, the only person that can do that is Jesus, by the way. So pray to him, not any political figure, for crying out loud. And, take the bold action to, be your best self. Do the hard things. Get enough sleep. Have a good diet. Try not to abuse yourself. Build an amazing family. Homeschool your kids. That's hard, by the way. That's a lot of work. I don't know if you guys homeschool your kids like we do. It's a lot of work. We have to take on more responsibility. And I'm also seeing this across cultures as well. And I look at America and ask myself, hey, Christopher, General, what do you get as a part of being an American citizen? And I just can't think of anything. For example, when you go to Japan, they basically have universal health care. You don't have to pay for anything. It's cheap. You don't have to pay $1 million for surgery or medications. Not like America. I pay $5,000 a month for my entire family as a part of my businesses. Yes, it's like tax deductible, but $5,000. And we don't get anything. Nothing. We don't get universal health care for our taxes. We don't, get better roads or infrastructure. We don't get safe American cities. They're travesties and they're dangerous. I walk other places in the world and there's safety, which it seems like everyone wants now. Stay safe, they say all the time. They want cleanliness. They want order. They want, good things for them and their family. They want wealth creation. They want good food. The food's cheaper everywhere I go. It's better, healthier, not like the United States. Again, start educating yourself outside of this failed collapse system. Grow a little balls yourself, and you'll see what they are telling you is a lie. Start visiting other countries and compare it to what's happening in the United States right now. You'll be blown away. You'll see you've been lied to. You'll see they're running a freaking scam in the United States of America right now, and it should piss you off. When I visit every other country and I see them doing it better than a collapsing failed state that is in the USA, it pisses me off because my forefathers died for the United States of America, and I'm doing everything in my power to rebuild it here at islandproject.com. Never bend the knee. Do not comply to this next hoax and global emergency. And do not be in fear, because we win, and Jesus Christ's return is imminent. We all ride with him on the second coming, and we are kicking major ass. Hallelujah. The digital Noah's Ark. Links below. Get in with 30 units minimum now and secure your investment in the best asset class in the world. You get paid cash flows. We produce statements at the end of the year. We've already proven our successful track record over the last 24 months. We now own properties in Maui, Oahu, Park City. The list goes on, completely debt-free. We've already done it. We've already built it. And as the global economic collapse comes into focus, as the banks start closing, as the capital controls are instituted during the next global World War III emergency or cough, you will thank me for what we've built and what we've done, just like many of you do. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I get very passionate because my life's work is into the mission statement to build, save America, and destroy the evil cabal that's hurting all of you tuning in. I will not stand down. I will never bend the knee, ever. In deep state, you're going down. 1776, General Greene Diamond Nuts. I love you all. And we'll do some fun tourism videos here in a bit, too, to share with you this new, beautiful country that we're in now. I got a dinner reservation planned with my beautiful family, and we've earned it because we work our ass off, and we're doing the right thing, and we have integrity, and we're not standing down or bending the knee or being tricked. No, we go out and build the new digital Noah's Ark, just like Noah. I love you, Dad. You're doing an incredible job. It's an honor to be your son. I love all my members, all of my subscribers tuning in. You're doing incredibly. You are amazing. I support you, and I want you to know I got your back. I got your freaking back, ladies and gentlemen. And you're looking at a real man and a real Christian who's leading by example. And I encourage you to join us. I want you there standing side by side. I want you so strong, you go out and lead. We are weapons for the name of the Lord and Jesus Christ, and we don't back down. Deep state, you're going down. You're going down. And Jesus Christ, our King, is kicking your butts. Love you all. Links below. Want to see at islandproject.com. Call my dad, text him, roll over those retirement accounts and IRAs while you still can. That way you have a self-directed account with us and deploy that into real estate. It's going to be the best move you've ever made when all these problems and everything I've been prognosticating and warning about finally hits. Just like I told you about Bitcoin, guys, it comes from the bottom of my heart. It comes from a very real place of knowing. Not because I'm the smartest guy out there, but God tells me this stuff. I have the discernment. Thank God. He's given it to me. And I've had the discernment. You've seen if you followed me since 2008 and 2009. Everything has happened. You know, no man can predict the day or hour, but we can see where things are headed and we know where they're going. So please, please prepare and ask God what to do with your daily preparations and everything you're doing to build up your families. And really, that's our goal here at islandproject.com, is to build all of you up, to make you the best that you can be, and to empower all of you so you are, because you already are powerful. And collectively as a group, as an organized vision statement, we're already doing amazing things. Many of you told me this wasn't possible, but it is. You should text and call my dad and ask him about what we've already accomplished. Let him share with you the good news of what we've been building and become a part of it, for crying out loud. Or don't. Vote with your wallets elsewhere to people that hate you and are hurting you and are going to lock you in your house again, and they're going to, engineer another event and destroy the country. That's really what your option is right now. You have not a lot of options. As I designed Island Project and laid out the business plan, years and years ago, I thought about what it would take to truly combat what I knew was coming. And it was, a big idea. I realized, even putting it to paper, well, it's a little crazy. God, I don't know about this. Like, this is going to take a miracle here. But then I heard that voice inside of me, and I heard God, and he woke me up in the middle of the night one night, and all I heard was, Christopher, you would discount me? You would not trust the Lord? You don't think I can move these mountains for you? And I got on my knees and prayed, and I said, God, I apologize. Like, forgive me for my sins. You're the Lord. You can do anything. And I committed to him. And I committed to the crazy idea and the vision. And then I started deploying my own capital into it. And now we've built it. So join us. Join us. The future of success and prosperity in this new world that we're living in will be much more internationally diverse and focused with new technology, which is what we're doing. So, we don't know when Jesus is coming back. I hope it's now. It'd be dope if he came back right now, and that would be the greatest event in world history. But what if it takes a while? We must build, ladies and gentlemen. We must honor God by building something better and more powerful than ourselves while we still can. So please do that now, and do it within your own lives and your own family, and find other like minds, like the one you're tuning into right now, and join forces collectively and become powerful. Become the weapon of hope. Become a part of the miracle work that we're seeing accomplished, because it is a miracle. And I'm just being honest. It's a freaking miracle. Islandproject.com is a miracle. Join the miracle. Join today. And many of you have. We have thousands of members from all over the world, including this country that you're looking at behind me. And I've been meeting with all kinds of our amazing members. And by the way, a lot of people ask us, there's a great video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called Meeting the Members of Island Project. Go watch it. Listen to the testimonials. They'll tell you it's the greatest investment they've ever made. Like, we're going to do a lot more of that, by the way, in the future, because we're holding private events And so for those that do want to come on camera, keep in mind, some of my members like to remain anonymous. They don't want to be on camera. Not everybody wants to show their face like me and expose themselves to the entire world because, you know, they're worried about what the deep state is going to do next. But I assure you, we have some of the biggest, most amazing, incredible, successful people that have onboarded this arc. And it blows my mind every single day. We're changing the world. We're changing people's lives, and we're doing incredible things. And in addition to that, more importantly, we're shining a giant spotlight on the one true King. You tune into a lot of people. Not everyone's telling you about Jesus, but I always have. That wasn't something I recently started doing or just decided to do it because it was a fad. I've been doing it since this platform started. Because the truth be told, the whole purpose of this platform isn't about me. It's not even about my business endeavors. It's about God. And I believe we've helped to ripple, change people's lives. We've empowered them to start new businesses. We've empowered them with their amazing investments. And one of the reasons I've been able to successfully raise 33.5 million, along with my father and our team, is because we've made people a lot of money in these other investments. Bitcoin, the biggest thing in the world now. If you haven't already noticed, it's up 1 million plus X, guys, since it started. So get in early and catch that wave with us, guys, because we are on the pinnacle now of a huge explosion. We've built leverage now. Now that we have the asset class established, we're in a position of power, empowered by God. All of this goes vertical and parabolic. Links down here and up here. And also want to hear what you think. Feel free to leave a comment and question. I appreciate that. Like it, leave 1,000X. And again, as I told you yesterday too, my channel isn't a parrot channel. It's not a one-sided, just tell everyone what they want to hear and worship some politician 24/7. If that's what you want, this is the wrong place. I created alternative media because we ask critical questions and get you to think, even if you don't like thinking about some of the ideas that we're putting out or some of the counterpoints that I might put into your mind, because I want you to think for yourself and not be deceived. Again, there's pretty much every other channel just tells you what you want to hear. It's very easy. If I wanted to increase reach, I would just come on camera and start worshiping your favorite politician right now and just pushing it 24/7 because that's what people want. The truth is people really don't want me to tell this hardcore information because they want to go to sleep. They want to pretend that they're being saved by a fake system. And I'm telling you, you're not. You're going to reap what you sow and you're going to be sorry. You need to go to God and you need to understand the truth. You're being deceived by the political, economic, financial, technological establishment. And I know this firsthand. I've been in a very rare position 20 years, guys, not just working for a Wall Street firm, seeing it from that perspective, managing millions and millions of dollars in client accounts, moving, working into social media, building alternative media television, e-commerce companies. I've seen it before everybody else. Buying Bitcoin, traveling to conferences, keynote speaking, meeting with other billionaires, meeting with Eric Schmidt long before they censored the entire internet. Bezos, Thiel, all live in Maui. I've been privy to information you don't have access to. I know things that you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, which is why as things play out, you see, oh, Christopher was right. How did he know that? Just like dozens of people called me, by the hour in 2020 and asked me how I knew that the lockdowns were coming and that it would be standardized and it would be such chaos. Because I did. It's really just as simple as that. And so when I speak today, it's just like when I spoke before about Bitcoin. It's just like when I spoke again in 08 and 09 and told you social media would be the biggest thing in the world. It's just like I spoke to you before the lockdowns. I'm now speaking to you now and telling you exactly what they're going to do next. And I know, because it's hard, even with that track record of that. People are like, well, I don't know, that sounds kind of crazy. I don't know. Really? We're just going to go to tyranny now? Yes, you're going to tyranny now. You're going to the collapse of the westernized world now. These other nations are taking control. Your compliance has assured it. Standing down has guaranteed it. The lack of any kind of real, and I call for peace, but any kind of real revolution has now assured that progression. Your vote don't count. Because again, America was infiltrated a long time ago, and you missed the opportunity. We still had it in 08 and 09, guys. When I first came on camera and told you they were going to do these things, if you would have organized more meaningfully, we could have stopped it. Could have stopped. I mean, you know, God's in charge, so I can't stop what his plan is. But we could have had even more of an impact. And I can again leave you with this too, because I see it firsthand. When I first started Greenwave, and we had millions of views per video, every single video, you know what my common mission statement was? It was buy a cup of coffee, $5 a day to save America. Subscribe for $5 a day. We'll build the media empire, destroy CNN and Fox News, which we did. And you know, tens of thousands of you did that, but not enough, guys. Not enough. Not enough. It wasn't really popular. Like, honestly, saving America isn't very popular. The idea of it is, but the action that people need to take, people don't want to take the action. That's why it's far easier for them to just do a vote. You know, people weren't building like I was a lot of the time in 08 and 09. They were just kind of armchair critiquing and watching while America imploded. Well, I caught on to that real quick and understood that the way that we actually change things, we can't just talk. We need political power, we need economic power, we need financial power, we need technological power. It's all here. This is what we're building. We've built the billionaire class, the Christian billionaire, wonderful people. They're right here. You've got to play these people at their own game. Don't be a victim. If these people do whatever they want because they have certain access to technology or wealth or whatever it is, then play them at their own game. Stop playing a game that's rigged against you. Stop going to a casino when you're guaranteed to lose and the tables are being turned against you. Don't play the game. My son likes playing blackjack and poker and stuff too. And he was like, oh, maybe I could get really good at that and, make a lot of money. And he probably could, but I said, son, don't do that. You're gonna lose. Okay, the casino always wins. I told him, look, if you like entrepreneurship, you like risk-taking, like your father, what you do is become an entrepreneur, become a businessman, build a business. That's where you're gonna make all your money. Build into new technology and new ideas. Even if you go work for someone, then go to work for an amazing company or amazing people with a strong vision that are building something great. And then for entertainment, if you want to go to a casino, just plan on losing and, have some fun and have a ginger ale while you're doing it. But again, what are Americans doing? They're doing the equivalent of that. They're at the casino of American politics thinking that changes something. It's not going to change anything. The card table is rigged against you. There's hidden decks, guys, that the elites own, and they're giving you fake cards. Stop playing their rigged game. Win. 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 Get on offense. I always tell you this from an athletic perspective. When you're going into a match, you play to win. You play to take risks. You play to go all in. You play the element of surprise. You work your butt off so you're ready when that shot comes down to the buzzer beater so you sink it and nail it every single time. Prepare, organize, deploy, join other people. America was built not by one dude. It was built by a lot of amazing people that, by the way, less than 10% fought the revolution. Okay? And right now, honestly, it's less than 10% of us that are fighting the revolution right now. That's the honest to gosh truth. 90% aren't doing anything, or they don't know. They might even be ignorant. They have no idea what's going on. They don't know they're being merged with microchips soon. They have no idea that the mark of the beast is here. They might not know who Jesus Christ's name is. It's important you tell people this. There's like less than 10% of us that really understand and are doing anything. So please, for the love of God, join the 10% that won the American Revolution. Right here, islandproject.com. Love you all. I'll do some fun content too, probably tomorrow or something. I'll take you around for a beach journey during my morning workout. I love you. Thank you. I honor all of you tuning in. You're a blessing. And we're an amazing community, and I commend all of you. My hat is really off to you. And I just hope you have a beautiful day wherever you're tuning in around the world. But understand that I'm telling you the truth. and it comes from my heart. And from the very beginning in 08 and 09, that's what I've been doing. I haven't changed. It's these other people that have, saying one thing, doing the other, you know, leading you on, telling you they were tricked by this stuff. They weren't tricked, guys. You know, the scary thought is, and a lot of people don't want to consider it, that these people weren't tricked, guys. They're in on it. Wake up. Again, it's just like the battered housewife, for crying out loud. He's gonna hit you again. So if you think Trump ain't gonna do what he did prior, he'll do it again, guys. Again, it doesn't matter who gets in. Biden, Trump, well, I guess Biden's not running. Kamala, Trump, the fake third party, like RFK can get in. It's not even, it's all a scam, guys. Even Joe Rogan is doing his really good deep state job right now to put his way to RFK. RFK can't win. It's not even mathematical. They're just there to sow division and keep you focused on the Hunger Games. That's all it is. It's just theater. You're at the casino and you're having fun, but you're going home a loser, okay? Every single time. It's just like during the gold rush. Not a lot of people found gold. It was the people and the merchants that made all of the money. And it was the people that got there first that made all the money. Those are the ones that discovered gold. It was the people smarter than the herd. Wake up to what I'm telling you. If everyone's saying the same thing, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. I'm probably a standout right now because, again, a lot of you don't even like what I'm saying anymore. Why is that? Because I'm getting at a truth you don't want to hear. Do you understand? And I'm okay with that. Again, I would never sell out my integrity. I would never sell out. I'm like the only guy not owned that keeps doing these videos. I don't have any contracts with any companies or anything. Okay, everything's independent. All my companies were created by me and my team. No one owns them. No one does. There's no Spotify contract, guys. I'm not working for Fox News or previously working for Fox News. Okay, I'm not aligned with a political figure which would limit my ability to speak truth because you couldn't go against the Fuhrer. Again, I'm telling you hard truths, but they're the truth. All right, I don't want to disturb the sunset any longer. I love you. Jesus Christ is King.